Well executed regulation is a huge benefit. The reason that regulations are created is normally to correct something that's going wrong, either in society or in an economy. Something's not working the way that was intended, and bad things are happening. And the idea then is you intervene with some form of rules, and then somebody executes those rules and manages that risk, and hopefully removes that risk of something going bad. The intent of regulation is always to help and unburden systems. However, badly executed, even the best regulatory frameworks poorly executed create an unnecessary burden, and that's become branded as red tape. It normally refers to badly designed legislation, but I think equally it's poorly executed that's as big a burden, if not a bigger one. Red tape is seen as a bad thing, but I think it's when we equate red tape to, red tape equals all regulations are red tape. I think when it's overly simplified or dumbed down, and you end up with, you look in some states in years gone by where the exercise was things like, we're going to lose, for every page we add, we're going to take 10 out. And that's seen as a good thing. But it very much depends on which 10 pages. If you genuinely look at those pieces of regulation, they've either served their purpose and they're no longer needed, or they were excessive in the first place, or they didn't really address the problem effectively. That's all red tape, and absolutely there should be a push to remove those rules. But if they're there and they're doing the job they were meant to, and therefore affording the protections that they're supposed to, then no, shouldn't be seen as a burden. They should be seen as a benefit. I mean, one of the key things I think every regulator should take a degree of responsibility for is that, when you set those, I'll just call them rules, when you set those rules up, the idea is they're there to deal with the harm, and the regulator's job should be not just simply to, administer those, churn through those laws every day of the week and throughout the years. You're there to try and stop the problem. If you design a bad piece of legislation, and this does happen, a good regulator can still try and deal with the harm by using really good regulatory practice. But conversely, you can give a great piece of legislation and you can make a mess of the execution of it, execute it without really understanding its purpose, fall into patterns and sort of, you've got 3-month statutory timelines to do things so you then always take 3 months, lazy regulation. And basically leads to a similar burden just through bad regulatory practice. And so that beige tape, and it is, I think most regulators, when you get someone like the Ombudsman or VAGO, a lot of the inquiries, a lot of the findings that they're having, the problem's not with the rules. The problem is with the way the rules are being administered. And that's the beige tape.